Biker Dads brought to you by Garza Law, Thunder Roads Magazine of Tennessee and Kentucky, and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers.
Hi, my name is Chris Best, and I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell stories. And this time, that adventure brings me and my entire family to the Barber Vintage Motorcycle Festival. It's awesome because I normally don't get to bring my family on the road, but this is just such a family-friendly event and location, so this time I brought them all with me, and that's what this episode is all about. The family-friendly festival, so let's roll. On this episode of Biker Dad, possibly the weirdest thing I've ever seen done to a motorcycle. Is this the hot new trend or an abomination? What the were you thinking? Plus, you never know how you're gonna make new friends on the road. Stuck in the traffic jam, and we run into some Facebook friends in real life.
I've been following Biker Dad for a while on Facebook. Found out that he was right behind me. That's pretty cool.
Plus, honoring our veterans, the biker group that's quietly serving our heroes every day and not just on Veterans Day.
Patriot Guard riders, and they stand between protesters and the family during funerals.
But first, the family-friendly biker festival that's bringing biker dads and biker kids together in Alabama.
It's awesome.
Have you ever sat at your job and thought, what if I just got up and left? Tell that horrible boss to take this job and shove it. Have you ever wanted to just walk out? What about burnout? Well, that's exactly what I did, but I didn't just quit. I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell your story. Daytona Beach, Florida, where you can actually drive onto the beach. Rick Fairless, a legend of his own, introduced me to Richard Rollins, Mayfield, Kentucky, Southeast Missouri, beautiful city of Knoxville, Tennessee, Gulf Coast of Mississippi, Florida coast in the Tampa Bay area, Orange County Choppers, Roadhouse and Museum, talking to Paul Tuttle Sr. himself. But make no mistake, this is not a show about motorcycles or even about me. Instead, I travel across the country to meet the people who use their passion for motorcycles to make their communities stronger, safer, and better. This is Biker Dad. We are in the tiny town of Leeds, Alabama, but we're also amongst the largest collection of motorcycles on the planet. Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum is just a sight to see. And this weekend, it's the Vintage Motorcycle Festival here. And unlike a lot of the events that I go to across the country, this one's very PG and very family friendly. So we brought everybody along and we found out why it's such a family affair.
It's a 3-day event weekend. We've got vintage motorcycle racing on track all weekend long. We've also got a swap meet, which is we're standing in the middle of here with over 600 booth space, selling everything from vintage motorcycles, vintage parts, to vintage clothing, signs, everything you can imagine here. Across from me, we also have a fan zone that's, we got about 40 or 50 commercial vendors. We've also got the Wall of Death and the Globe of Death, so very family-friendly week. Inside the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum, the largest collection of motorcycles on the planet, more than 4,000 bikes in this huge, beautiful building. 100-year-old Harleys and Clevelands and Indians. We are at the Barber Vintage Motorcycle Festival. We're inside the museum. This place is 5 stories of thousands of motorcycles and some cool vintage race cars as well. Just take a look at this behind me. You can't even see the other side of it. It's way up there. It's 3 stories back down that way. It's insane. Goes down to the basement. Vintage race car restoration going down there. That's the basement. That's the 2nd floor. This is the 3rd floor, 4th floor. There's a 5th floor. This is just the inside of the museum. Out there is a racetrack and a whole lot more.
During the annual Vintage Motorcycle Festival, there's even more outside, as many as 200,000 vintage bikes, hundreds of acres of property, and it seems like on every inch there's a vintage bike.
My name is Danae Adair, volunteering for crowd control. My son and I have been doing this for about 10 years or so. We come to most of the events up here. Yeah.
Yes, this is my dad. I'm DJ, I'm actually junior, so I'm Danae James Jr.
We really enjoy coming up here, getting to do stuff together, and you know, just seeing all the people and helping out people. It's just really interesting to us.
Yeah, and there's a lot of families up here. We're actually talking about one of the main volunteers. His dad is one of the chairmans here, and he started up here when he was like 8 years old, and he's now almost in control of it. So it's a family event up here. The people are very, very great. It's just, the motorcycle industry is just a family. I mean, it really is, no matter what you do about it. You can't run into a stranger when you're on a motorcycle.
It's really hard to describe about it because there's so many different points that you can watch the races and so many different things to see. And as you're walking through the woods, you see all the statues and different things. Around every corner, there's something different to see.
The entire round part of the track, the outward road is just covered with motorcycles. You can get on the tram and just ride around and just see thousands and thousands of motorcycles just riding around. It's ridiculous. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of motorcycles just parked around this place.
I'm Allie Bess, or Alley Cat. We came to the Barber Motorcycle Museum today and we watched people race, and we went to all the little huts where they were selling motorcycle parts, and then we came to the museum. It was very beautiful, and looking at all the different types of motorcycles and learning about them from my dad is really cool. It's very overwhelming, and there were a lot of cool cars and motorcycles, and there are a lot of cool people. It's fun coming to these with you because I learn a lot because I don't know very much about cars and stuff, and having someone else to talk about cars and stuff with is really fun. It's awesome.
In the show, you probably know who they are, but we are honoring a brother who went down, plowed down by a reckless driver, and that's just one of the missions that this group does every week here in Lower Alabama, but all across the country. This is a bigger, louder event than most. Usually it's 5 or 6 bikers on a Tuesday morning or a Thursday afternoon, but today we had hundreds of people show up for our fallen brother, and again, this is something that we do all the time.
We're going to go in and do a final salute right after the Boilermakers. My name is Ed Juju Lassard. I'm a ride captain for Southwest Alabama Patriot Guard Riders here in South Alabama. Patriot Guard Riders, our main mission is to stand for those that stood for us. In other words, we escort veteran funerals, we stand flag lines at veteran events, at funerals, and even law enforcement. Patriot Guard started back in 2005 in Kansas. There's a group called the Westboro Baptist Church, and they would come to funerals and hold up signs and yell nasty stuff. And the bikers up in that area figured that they needed to protect the family somehow. So they started the Patriot Guard Riders, and they stand between protesters and the family during funerals and protect them, cut them off, and just to honor and make sure that the veteran that passes away gets his honors.
Inside the church, they're gonna do their service.
I got involved about 9 years ago. It was 2012. I had just retired. I needed something to do, and I ran across a Patriot Guard director that saw me get off a motorcycle one day, and he came over and said, "Hey, have you ever heard of the Patriot Guard Riders?" And I said, "Yeah, I've heard of them, but I don't know exactly what they do." So he invited me to a Patriot Guard mission, a funeral, and I tell you what, ever since that first one, I've been hooked. Very easy to be a member. You don't even have to be a veteran. You don't even have to ride a motorcycle. What you need is to have love and honor and respect for our veterans, and to be able to come out and show that.
Hey, this is Paul Sr., and you're watching Biker Dad TV.
When I'm on a long trip and I have to carry so much stuff, I can't even think about having fun. It just kind of sucks. But I found something really cool. It's called Camp Easy Ride. They set up everything for you when you get there, and they tear it all down when you leave. You get to party your butt off each night back at your own glamour tent compound. Simply arrive, party, drop, repeat, and leave. Book your trip right now at campeasyride.com.
I was coming home. I had a flat tire. The local authorities proceeded to ask me some questions, and then that led to my arrest. There were some facts that needed to be presented that could help me with my case. I was exonerated. I would contribute that to Mr. Garza and his staff's efforts. He assured me that he would do all within his power to assist me in seeing this through.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Biker Dads brought to you by Garza Law, Thunder Roads Magazine of Tennessee and Kentucky, and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Hi there, this is Chris Best, the Biker Dad. I'm just here to let you know that myself and the hundreds of thousands of people who follow us on social media and watch the TV show are here to help. Do you need help with something? Give me a call. That's my number right there, 251-402-6392. Especially if you need legal help, I have an army of lawyers across the country who can help you with injuries after motorcycle crashes especially, but other stuff like crime and everything else too. So give me a call, 251-402-6392.
Hey everybody, April Violet here, Miss Heels on Wheels from Knoxville, Tennessee, and you're watching Biker Dad TV.
Now here's the Biker Dad Bike of the Week.
What's up guys, it's Will over here at Mobile Bay Harley Davidson. Today I wanted to show off one of the Tri-Glide Ultras that we have. This one's going to be a 22 model. We actually just re-chromed the front and rear wheels to kind of give you that chrome look. We actually put in the Harley light up floorboards here that you actually have a key to actually control all of this on. These light up floorboards actually go into your rubber, like into your floorboards, where they just pop straight in, wire into the battery. They're super easy to use, super easy to change the color. You can pretty much click through all, maybe set it as your favorite color. It's super neat, kind of gives you that special look. And we also put the extra storage here for, you know, your little stuff you might need throughout riding, everything like that. This bike's brand new. You get your navigation, cruise control, everything like that, all on your touchscreen radio. With a USB cord, everything like that.
Tell me a little bit more about these wheels.
So we actually sent these wheels off to, I believe, someone out in California or Colorado, can't really remember exactly. We put I believe it's a 21-inch front wheel on the front. Kind of gives you that more low profile rim style.
Cool, well let's fire it up. Our Back on 2 segment is brought to you by Garza Law and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers.
I'm Mark Winfield.
So you've been in two pretty bad crashes with the same bike and you're still riding it. Tell me about what happened.
Oh, I was sitting at a red light with my girlfriend and we're waiting in traffic and we hear tires sliding behind us, and before I could find in my mirrors where the car was at to try and get away, just heard the loud crash and pain running through my leg. Hit my wheel, it hit so hard that it scratched at it, broke that completely off. My girlfriend's foot was right here, so it hit this and twisted it so hard it took a chunk out of the subframe there. But her leg come up, so it didn't mash it between the car and the bike. It hit this one in my foot so hard that it put the brake lever into the subframe and bent it, or took that chunk out. Put this dent in the gas tank where my knee got mashed between the car and the bike. mashed my leg up. I dropped the bike on this side, so it scratched my bike all up. And I was just sitting still at a red light. I couldn't put the bike on the kickstand because so much pain in my leg. So I let my girlfriend kind of fall and crawl away from the bike. And I just dropped it between my legs and then went and checked on her. And she was just damaged at her ankle. The rest of her was fine. And then I had just a lot of pain running through my leg because it mashed it between the car and the bike. The leg's still swollen 2 inches bigger than the other leg, and that was 2 years ago. That was the first wreck. The second one, I checked my mirrors, there was no lights, no nothing. And then I started slowing down and I hear tires sliding behind me. So from the first wreck, it just triggered something. I dropped another gear and just hauled into it. The car slid into me and bent the back rim, took the back frame and all that out of it again.
So I've talked to people who've gotten back on motorcycles after crashes all the time, but I think you're the first person I've talked to that's gotten back on the same motorcycle twice after 2 crashes. Why is that important to you?
Well, I love this bike. This was the bike I started out on. This was, when I was searching for a bike to get on, I looked for 3 months to find the right bike. And this one was it. It's the color of my dad's cars. My dad passed away a little over 3 years ago. And I wasn't able to get the car at the time. My brother got it, and this just reminded me of his car. If that's what brings you happiness, that's your escape, whatever, your therapy, whatever it is to you. If it means something to you and you love it, get back on it.
Sure, I'm Marcos Garza of the Garza Law Firm. You know, the thing I like so much about serving the motorcycle community through the law is, I suppose, first of all, I've always rooted for the underdog. That's just kind of how I'm made. And typically you represent those folks who need help the most. I get the pleasure of representing individuals. The thing that's awesome about the motorcycle community especially is that you kind of have the same camaraderie or the same feel of camaraderie that I experienced in the Marine Corps, and that kind of selfless service that you surround yourself with whenever you're around other people who signed up to be the tip of the spear or signed up to potentially be in harm's way, kind of creates a fantastic organization. If you spend any time with the motorcycle community, it kind of feels like a group of Marines, really. And whenever you hang around motorcyclists for any period of time, you start to realize they're more about each other than they are about themselves. A lot of times, motorcyclists will get the short end of the stick if they're not properly represented. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen an accident report where it says the motorcyclist was, driving too fast or driving at Mach 1 or exceeding the speed, and most of the time, that's not true at all. If you go out and you look under all the rocks, shake all the bushes, find all the witnesses, pull 911 tapes, do a full investigation, then you'll find out there's often a witness out there too, like, no, he or she was driving the speed limit. There's this sort of kind of assumption made, I think, often by police officers and citizens, not because they're bad people, but they just associate motorcyclists with speeding somehow. And so if you can get out in front of a case early and get involved in a case early enough, you can kind of squash that and get a better result.
Now, this week's Biker Dad Tech Tip.
Neil's here to help us with the Fat Elvis 2009 Electric Glide that's throwing an engine light, and so we're checking that out. But
this is one of our older setups with the 2-wire. We can double check, make sure that everything's hooked up correctly. But there's they live a hard life. Our 2 sensors do. They're right there in the exhaust stream. They're pretty warm, pretty quick. Sometimes these things can fail, but luckily emissions warranties on most vehicles outlast the factory warranty.
Okay.
And, if you've got a good service department, they can kind of dig around and get some things covered for you.
All right, cool.
That is our older Tech Link 2. That is the translator between the motorcycle and the computer. That's a Bluetooth setup. This is our Tech Link 3 for the newer bikes. all Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, get everything printed out. Sweet. Like I said, since you already have that flash, we're going to do a what I call a housekeeping reflash. It's just to get everything back to the original settings. And you'll hear your bike kick on. It does its countdown. Just like updating your phone. It does this thing, it'll give us a nice printout so you can have it for your records to show that you have the most current setup.
Now, a Biker Dad road trip.
We're on the way back from Bike Week in Myrtle Beach, and as you can see, we get stuck in traffic. That's just part of life on the road. But what doesn't really usually happen is that you find out that the guys who are stuck in traffic in front of you are also guys that you've been interacting with on Facebook, and now I get to meet them in real life. Soldiers United guys who are stuck here in traffic with us. We're going to ask them about their ride.
I go by Lil Shep. I am a member of Soldiers United Motorcycle Club. I'm in the Hinesville chapter. We're a club. We're based, the mother chapter's out of Hinesville. Right now we have 9 chapters. We're actually just coming back from our Waldorf, Maryland chapter, their first annual. So it was a pretty nice event. We had a representation from all our chapters. Origination of it is from Third ID Soldiers out of Hinesville, Fort Stewart, and since then we've branched off. Now it's not a requirement to be a military person, but we want someone at least with those core values, to be upright, a good person in the community. We do a lot of community work, a lot of charity work, things like that.
My name is Proof. I'm the secretary of Soldiers United Motorcycle Club out of Hinesville, Georgia. Went to Waldorf, Maryland. We have a chapter there that was just doing their first anniversary. And we had a really good ride coming back. We caught some rain around exit 108. Pulled over, put on our rain gear, and came on. We were getting close to home, right there at exit 5 at Hardyville, but we live in Savannah, Georgia, which is not too far. And then we ran into this. Google had it estimated at about 560 miles. I kind of looked at my tripometer yesterday and I was somewhere around 750. So it'd probably be a total of about a 1,500 mile weekend. We do our share of riding. We do our share of riding. I mean, that's what we have the bike for. It builds brotherhood to get on the road with the guys like Lil Shep and myself, and funny little things happen on the road, as you know, and so we can go back and tell stories. Now, the ironic thing about this is we ran into you on I-95, and I just put it in our club group. We have a group me account, and everybody's kind of going crazy. A lot of people know you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been following Biker Dad for a while on Facebook, and to actually find out that he was right behind me, that's pretty cool. Real informative site, lets you know a lot that's going on in the bike community, and not just in one specific area, but all around, up and down. So pretty cool. It's like almost a surreal moment to actually meet someone who's putting out content, some good content too. We were on our way home. We get 4 miles from the Georgia line, 6 miles from the house, and of course we're in the middle of 95, shut down. But all is well because hey, we got to meet Biker Dad, so that's pretty cool.
Well, you all have a safe trip, and it was awesome meeting you.
Oh, nice meeting you. All right, take care.
April Violet here, Miss Heels on Wheels from Knoxville, Tennessee, and you're watching Biker Dad TV.
Biker Dad's brought to you by Garza Law, Thunder Roads Magazine of Tennessee and Kentucky, and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers.
For me personally, we started this division because of my connection. I ride. I've been riding for 10 years, and my friends ride. And I think for For our firm, it's just getting tired of seeing motorcyclists and not having someone to stand up for them in all aspects, whether it be legally, accidents, whatever the case may be. I personally lost my best friend to a motorcycle accident, and it was that week that I took the job and created this new division dedicated and committed to making sure that we can protect as many families from feeling the pain that comes with something of that, of tragedy like that. Motorcycle advocacy is, it's about being in the community. Heels on Wheels is my kind of personality piece. I'm known as Miss Heels on Wheels, and there's a story behind that, but another day. I'm a firm believer that you have to be where they are. You can't just sponsor something and not show up. You can't just, bikers in their community are really, really close-knit, and they don't trust easy. So if you get into the community and you show that you're there, you show up at events or you put on events, if you take on the fact that what's important to them now is important to you, it goes a long way with gaining their trust. And like I said, they're very close-knit. So once you become part of your family, you're in. So it makes sense for us to have an advocacy program that we're kind of boots on the ground. We're involved with pretty much everything within our community. If it has anything to do with motorcycling, we're there.
On the road in Mobile, Alabama, visiting the USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park, and I came across maybe one of the weirdest things I've ever seen someone do to a motorcycle. Would you ride it?
Derek Johnson. Back in 20 years ago when I started riding, there was a thing going around where people cover their bikes in different fabrics and whatnot, and I always wanted to try it out, so finally found a bike I like, and now it's Ginger, the fur bob. It is a 2022 street bob. Brand new. Bought it with 2 miles on it. It's only got 570 right now, but ride it every day.
So I just have to ask you the question that everybody is going to ask when they see this video. Excuse my language, but what the were you thinking?
It's something different. Got to be unique, right? Got to come up with something different. So try this out. If it doesn't work, then I'll do something else. We're going to find out what it does today in the rain, though.
Keep it clean.
Vacuum cleaner, maybe. I don't know. We're going to find out. So I haven't had too many bugs on it so far. I just like the color orange. Ginger, J-I-N-J-E-R, Ginger.
Follow you on
Instagram, Facebook.
Thank you for joining us at the Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum for this episode of the Biker Dad TV show. You have to come here and see this for yourself. My cameras don't do it justice, just period. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, please look twice for motorcycles.